right, everyone, we're ready to get started. This beautiful crowd on this beautiful night in this beautiful space. I'm Jessica, and this is Junie. Hi. Beloved, amazing. I'm appreciating a lot tonight. We'd like to welcome you to the 9th Constellation. Number 9. We're so happy to bring together Stephanie Adams-Santos, Jose Hernandez Diaz, and Tim Lane. And we're thrilled to bring together all of you in this room tonight. And everyone joining us via live stream. Cool. As we gather in this space, it's important to remember that we're gathered on the unceded traditional homelands of Multnomah, Clackamas, Clackamas, Tumwater, and Guatemala Cascade bands of the Chinook, as well as Tualatin and Kalapuya, and many other recognized and unrecognized indigenous nations of the Columbia River. And we say this not as empty words, but as an invitation or reminder to learn more if you don't already know about the specific broken promises on which the city and state rest, and to find ways to concretely and materially support indigenous sovereignty and the return of land every time you hear a land acknowledgement. We say all of this also with the intention of really good use of this time. Before we get started, we want to thank Lance and Tin House, and Tyler and Melissa of Richard and Wild for their generosity in donating this space to us. We want to thank each of you for your consideration in honoring our COVID policy, which involves wearing masks in this space, and looking out for each other. Looking out for each other and being here for each other. You might be here because you know one of the readers tonight. You might be here because a class requires you to come to a literary event. All of those are great reasons, but we hope you come back. You're like permanently invited back. We've been gathering on the second Thursday for a couple of months, and we're varying that pattern. We're doing a special thing with a special collaboration with the Pacific University MFA program. We'll have a great slate of readers. So watch our Instagram or sign up for our mailing list. There are little signs here and there with a QR code where you can sign up for the mailing list. It grows every month. And we'll email you 2 times a month exactly. We have some amazing readers tonight. So without further ado, Junie is going to introduce Stephanie Adams-Santos.
I appreciate you too, Jeff.
It's so beautiful, and you all are bringing like so much like wonderful energy. The world is a really fucked up place right now, and I can't talk about it or I will cry. And I'm not a crier, but just being in this space and feeling like the compassion and like kindness you all bring to me right now. So I'm not going to talk about that because I don't want to cry. I'm so happy to be here. Yes, another way to put that. Thank you for being here. Really excited to introduce Stephanie Adams-Santos. Stephanie contacted us on Instagram, and I was like, "Hey, Jessica, Stephanie contacted us. Let's get her in." Jessica was like, "Well, I had her planned for another time." This works out really well with your new book and everything. So anyway. Wanted you to be here for a while. Stephanie Adams-Santos, she, they, is a Guatemalan American writer from Oregon. Her work spans poetry, prose, and screenwriting, often grappling with strangeness and belonging. Her work reflects us an endless fascination with the weird, numinous, and primal forces that shape inner life. It's very cool. Stephanie is the author of several full-length poetry collections and chapbooks, including Dream of Shivalba, selected by Jericho Brown as the winner of the 2021 Morrison Poetry Prize, and Storm Queen's Crown, finalist for a Lambda Literary Award. Woo! Their work has been anthologized and speculative fiction for Dreamers, Mais, a Latinx futurism anthology, and a forthcoming anthology of hybrid literature and art. Stephanie served as staff writer and story editor on the television anthology horror series, Two Sentence Horror Story. In addition to their literary work, Stephanie is creating and illustrating a major arcana tarot deck called Tarot de la Selva. Also very cool. Please welcome Stephanie. Hi, everyone. Let's see. Try to get the hola. It's so special to be here. It's really beautiful. With everything in the world now and always so important to just really hold each other really deeply and take it easy. So I'm going to be reading a little bit from Dream of Shivalba, which I kind of started writing over the pandemic. And it was after my mother had died on my grandmother's side, on my mother's side. She was from Guatemala and actually grew up here. Like I went to elementary school at Chapman, which is like a block from here. And we would drive from here to Guatemala everywhere, all six of us. And a Volkswagen, Volkswagen bus. And it took like 10 days to visit my grandma and sometimes live there. And so a lot of my experiences and all of our experience is so mixed with different places, languages, fragments. We're all fragments. So after my grandmother died and forests were burning and Trump was president, it was just like like the pandemic. So many things were happening and mixing. I found it really hard to be rational, and I felt really fragmented and disconnected from my sense of self and place in the world. And I think that's where this book came out. It was just gathering the fragments of myself, which ended up including fragments of my mother's life, my grandmother's life, fragments of the past, dreams, deep dreams, fragments of non-human existence, all of it woven together. And so, so that's what it is. And I invite you, if you want, to close your eyes, if you want, and just see, like I'm all about what comes forth from our bodies, from the unconscious, and maybe some image will arise that will be for you and important for you. Maybe think of this as like a tarot reading, and something will arise for you that will have meaning for you. Outside, a pale figure crosses the terreno, a shape aimless and tainted with the smell of hens, the smell of water. You sense a softness like the veil of a bride cascading down a woman's back, obscuring the swordplay of her eyes. The figure walks with backward feet, cabezona de caballo, los ojos, dos cenotes llenos de sal. She walks the sacrament of your memory backward into shadow, her white coat flaring into the past. Behind the temple of Sakuleu, her long tail darkens the ground. Now the window is blank. Turning back to the stove, you remember your grandmother's words. Don't turn your back on the masa, on the fire, on the dead. Here is that old feeling again, that nearly senseless body floating over your
body. That specter, la siwanava de tu sangre, projected from the prism of your skeleton. Milk spills from the voids of its eyes, risen from the tributaries of its perished breasts. Beneath the veil of its hair, you're immobile and wet from its weeping. Your face washed and eyes made white, lips flush against the lace of baptism. The ache slides from one side to another, cargo from another time. It rests at your hips, a smoldering stone but cold. Now a serpent licks the backs of your eyes with the thin blue flame of its desire. Your spirit shivers away from your bones. The presence of a murdered woman commands an empty sensation, a correspondence, a sudden nameless tug. Ghosts are immortal feelings. The forest burns, inner lives are past, twinkling in the ferns. You can't hurry your eyes from the sigil of light that binds them. From your brain, the colors seep down, come like magma into the cavity of your chest, shatter and darken to obsidian. In the petrified loom, a figure burns in the left. Alone in her house, your great grandmother is engulfed in skirts of fire. The past walks in circles inside of you, a corpse with backward feet, a loop of herself, weaving herself, remembering herself inside another body. You can speak a little bit of Spanish, but a lost language sits on your tongue, a toad the weight of stone, black and green from the river, fulgent the perfume of its flesh. If you speak now, you'll lisp, you'll hiss. Cherubs, their big eyes gleam, and the moon blue on their bare heads, the color of night, they climb down the darkness through the bedroom window to see you, to touch you, light in their hands, light in their eyes. A small man in the jungle blesses himself with leopard's dung. In the shade of a shrub, he makes his cheeks red. Under your pillow, he leaves a mirror, a slab of black stone while you dream, an opening that never closes. The old women of your head walk in procession, endlessly coming and going. You've heard of flowers growing from nothing, standing up on stone, sucking blood from the sunlight. Far away, the mountains conspire with their ghosts. The fossils beneath still cradle the empty forms. All these psyches, where have they gone? Even extinction has its children. You dream all night of the room beneath your room, that bed made of water. You dream the ground shakes open, a rift full of flowers. The enormous blooms swallow your head. Thorns bud from the stalks of your limbs. Light pools up behind the dam. Still you wither in this bed until at last something moves. The roots shake and sigh unwitnessed. My wife, are you nowhere? Kukulkan is waking. Stepping out from the dream, you must carry the sight of the god alone. Two vultures each eat at the sight of the other's dissolution. Between them, words flay the air and come back wet. Heads of thunder, red. A scrawl glistens in the book of the body. One eye weeps, washing itself. The other dreams. Midday smoke closes the sky where the sun becomes the moon, a primitive eye. illegible gaze that blurs and possesses, passing over broken sigils strewn on the ground, the arms of trees, voided wands torn open for the dreaming of fire, fed by a bestial wind, wind that sucks the wines from a wrinkle in the air, wind that drinks blood from the spirit's eye. Feral children howling in cages call back to the coyotes that descend from the hills back and forth, their hunger and delirium, back and forth, the fire and the wind, the furnace and the ash, the long, long road home, the season of fire. I'll stop there for now.
I wanted that to go on and on. It is my intense pleasure to introduce Jose Hernandez Diaz. Him. Jose is a 2017 NEA Poetry Fellow. He's the author of The Fire Eater from Texas Review Press and the forthcoming Bad Mexican, Bad American from Acre Books, coming out next spring. We have a little QR code link to pre-order it. It is available for pre-order. And I have to say, because they're also my press, they make beautiful books. And forthcoming in 2025, The Parachutist from Sundress Publications. Jose has been published in the Yale Review, Poetry, Poetry Wales, the Southern Review, the London Magazine, the Iowa Review, the Missouri Review, the Cincinnati Review, Tri-Quarterly, Epic Magazine, and in the Best American Non-Required Reading. If you submit, if you're a writer and you're like doing the submission thing, he's a great follow. He retweets submission opportunities very generously. He teaches generative workshops for People House, Lighthouse Writers, the Writers Center, and elsewhere. And additionally, he serves as a poetry mentor in the Detroit Journal mentorship program. As soon as I found Jose's work online, before we had an interconnection, I knew I wanted to have him. I'm so excited to hear him read. Please welcome Jose Hernandez.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. It's great to be here. First time in Portland. Heard a lot of great things. Thank you to the bookshop, Jessica, to everybody for the invite, for organizing everything. I know I'm horrible at organizing things, doing breakfast. So I'm going to start off with the new poem that's not in the book, and then I'm going to read from the collection. This one is called 20 Alternative Careers, Academic Poet. And it was published in Border Crossing. 1, big wave surfer. 2, avant-garde saxophonist. 3, pastry chef. 4, memoirist. 5, governor of absurdism. 6, retired clergy. 7, shortstop for the Dodgers. 8, they took a bad L last night. 8, professor of paletas michoacanas. 9, librarian. 10, scarecrow. 11, lead guitarist from Mars Volta. 12, government spy. 13, statue in the park. 14, prima ballerina. 15, John Paul Sartre's ghost. 16, bodyguard for Pablo Neruda. 17, an idea with humorous appeal. 18, doctor of generosity. 19, un cotoro en la selva. 20, una memoria de lluvia. So I got like some taco stain on my phones here. I was gonna print out some more, and I said, I think the Portland crowd will accept me as I am. This one is called the bocha with the Adelita tattoo. Bocha or bocha is a term used to describe like third, second, fourth generation Mexican Americans. Adelitas were the Mexican women who fought alongside the men during the Revolutionary War. I fell in love with the bocha with the Adelita tattoo. She's so cultured and idiosyncratic. Her hair is up in a bun. She wears heels with blue jeans, red lipstick. Her tattoo is Dia de los Muertos, the Mexican Revolutionary theme. Her eyes are bocha light brown, like her. I don't know if she speaks Spanish. If she does, it's probably broken, like mine. The bocha with an Adelita tattoo and I go on a date to a local taco shop. We talk about music, art, and poetry. We have a few cocktails and eat tacos. At the end of the night, I ask her about her tattoo. She says she got it because it represents her Mexican heritage and because Las Adelitas were badass women. I tell her it's lovely and lean in for a kiss. This next one is called My Life as a French Existential Novelist. After I fell down the stairs last Easter, I was suddenly able to speak French. I moved to Paris immediately. I got a job at an old bookstore where Apollinaire used to frequent. I bought a French bulldog, of course. On the weekends, I smoked too many cigarettes and rode the subway aimlessly. My French name was Gaston, like in Beauty and the Beast, except I had no bell. I always wanted to be a French existentialist. Now that I was one, I refused to wear a beret the color black. My fatal flaw is that I think people are always looking at me. In fact, it's just I was born a handsome child. Still, the moon shines more beautifully in Paris, France. The clouds more beautiful. This next one is called The Fall, and it was published in Poetry Northwest. And it references Chicago Batman, which is a band from LA. A man in a Chicano Batman shirt fell from a skyscraper. He didn't have a parachute on. He did have on a pair of parachute pants, though. Still, he couldn't fly. But he was able to break dance in the air as he descended on the city. He was fly. He showed off some fancy footwork. He did a headstand in midair, spun around in circles. As he prepared to land, firemen threw a trampoline on the floor. The man in Chicano Batman shirt bounced around the city. As he landed, he did splits. The crowd cheered. He took a bow and waved at the many faces in the city. This next one is called My Date with Frida Kahlo. I went on a date with Frida Kahlo. Frida was like a mother to me, or a muse at least. It was kind of awkward at first. She sure was beautiful, though. She had on a colorful rebozo, and one of her monkeys sat on her shoulder the entire day. I didn't mind, of course. Anything to sit next to Frida. In fact, I became close friends with the monkey. His name was El Jaguar. Frida and I ate at an underground Mexico City cafe. It was where real artists hang out. I felt out of place. Again, she invited me there, so maybe I belonged. Rita and I had Cuban coffee and then vegetarian tacos. We sipped on mezcal and black tea. At the end of the night, following an awkward silence during a conversation on Cubism, we kissed for about 30 minutes beneath a protest mural by David Alfaro Siqueiros. She asked to paint me naked. I was too shy and refused. On the second date, she stood me up. I mourned for a couple of weeks and then moved on to my irrational pursuit of Rosario Castellanos. Looking for the happy bones here.
Those are all happy if you're looking for.
This one is called The Stranger. It was published in the Yellow Review. A man came up to me as I was walking home from the pharmacy. Are you Jose Hernandez Diaz? Yes, I said. Who's asking? Do you enjoy sipping tea before bedtime? Well, I do, but what is it to you? I asked. In the 9th grade, did you get cut from the basketball team? I did, in fact, get cut from the team. Do you sometimes wonder what life would have been like had you married Margot Cisneros? Maybe sometimes, yes, I said. Are you afraid of small talk or long walks in the city? I'm just a little introverted, I said. Does the night sky resemble a dragon of your dreams? Yes, thank you for asking. Did you cry when Muncie hit that home run in the World Series? I did cry at that moment, proud of it. Were you born back and forth from LA and Orange County? Story of my life, yes, I said. Does the night sky resemble a dragon of your dreams? Yes, thank you for asking. Yes. I'll do one more. This one is it's the second to last poem, prose poem in my collection, Bad Mexican, Bad American, called At the Funeral of Van Gogh's Ear, based on a true story. I'm at the funeral for Van Gogh's ear. His ear lived a passionate, colorful life. Van Gogh's blood was not red like mine or yours. No, it was blue. Blue like the midnight ocean, despite the darkness. Van Gogh's ear received marigolds at the decadent funeral. It was held at midnight in secrecy. Several celebrities attended the funeral, including the nose of Pablo Picasso. I was only invited because I used to polish Van Gogh's shoes as a young student. One winter day, Van Gogh came to my shop complaining about his fever. He said it rang loudly. He said it cried at night. Van Gogh and his ear will always be remembered. Starry night after starry night. Thank you.
Oh, there's also a couple more people that are also people. You want to see it?
That's it.
I go to town.
There are more people over there. There's comfortable chairs over there too. So maybe they're just good. I am thrilled to introduce my close friend, one of my mentors, and one of my favorite writers, Tim Lane. Tim's words have appeared in the Los Angeles Review, Emerald City, X-Ray, and Monkey Bicycle, among others. He lives in Portland, Oregon, where he is a stay-at-home father. His first, I don't put this down low for me. How tall are you, Tim? You'll see, it's kind of a cool thing to see us next to each other. He's like, I used to do that all the time. His first novel, Rules for Becoming a Legend, is published by Viking Press. His second, The Neighbors We Want, is now out from Crooked Lane over there for sale, if it's wild. Now I'm gonna go rogue for a minute and add my own content to his bio because I love him and I can. He's sweet and just let me do it. I could say a lot of things I love about Tim, but I'll stick with his writing for tonight because I don't want to embarrass him too much because he's really humble and hates being in the spotlight. So I'm glad he's here to read. His primary form is novel writing, but he is an excellent short story writer, which is one thing I think that makes his novels so good. He's also the kind of fiction writer who is kind of also a poet. His choice of language is just exquisite and wonderful. He just gets like the right word at the right moment. It's so cool. His new book, The Neighbors We Want, has all the stuff I love about Tim Ferretti, all wrapped up into one book. It's a page turner. The pacing is spot on. There are laugh out loud moments. The language is beautiful. It's kind of sexy. So it's kind of fun that way. The observations on Portland, marriage, and parenting are extremely astute and insightful. The characters are engaging and interesting and very interesting. It's just a really book. So I hope you all read it and you can buy it here. Bishop and Wild. Without further ado.
You all, and previous stuff was amazing. It's a little bit of a different flavor. It's kind of like a domestic thriller. So during the pandemic, I'm a stay-at-home dad, and the world felt really small when you were a stay-at-home dad with 2 little kids, and you couldn't leave. So I started reading all these domestic thrillers. But it's always like these women who were like stuck in the house, going through their. What if it was a guy? Because the guy's imagining. It's about Adam, who is a stay-at-home dad, and the acronym is SAD. His daughter was restless. The ham of her fist, the twist of the bedspread, all the toys he'd strewn on the bed. Oh, and I have to say thank you to Janae. Jessica, it was embarrassing. She was like, oh, he's my mentor. She's the one. Okay, sorry. Okay, so his daughter was restless. The hammer of fist, the twist of bedspread, all the toys he'd strewn on the bed, even the prized Sophie giraffe lost their appeal. She was counting down to tantrum, neglected too long. She was more mobile than she had ever been, and more trouble too. Constantly feeling like she was herself. Adam took her up in his arms. Where has the morning gone? He asked her. Where has it gone? Did you take it? I bet you took it. Maddie giggled. What a light. Everything was worth this. The apple of his eye. Apples. Every apple in the world. But where did you put it? Where did you put all that time? He lifted her above his head so she almost touched the ceiling and brought her diaper booty down on his nose and inhaled. Aha! Just like that, he felt a minor chord in his chest. He was a good parent, but he didn't like the actual work of good parenting. He ignored her all morning, and his secret wish was to call her for hours longer. He had put Kemp and Allie out of his mind. So Kemp and Allie's the next door neighbor. He's become obsessed with. And Kemp is her ex. So he put Kemp and Allie out of his mind. It wasn't his business. He would busy his hands, his mind. It was time to make lunch. Who made lunch at 10 o'clock in the morning? He made lunch at 10 o'clock in the morning. But what was there to make? He had made everything 1,000 times. What even was lunch? Mostly macaroni and cheese, sliced cucumbers, maybe some broccoli, sliced apple and peanut butter, milk from his wife's breast. Not too long ago, he'd been negotiating advertising contracts for tens of thousands of dollars. Now the prospect of opening the fridge terrified him. He went for a bag of Lay's and saw the little badge on the back that it was official potatoes for the Indian. Good for them. Maybe he should arrange official licensing for stats. Sloppy sweats eating over the sink, growing a little, maybe not so little gut, feeling insecure about the masculine duty to break the bacon. Well, that's the official feeling of stay-at-home dads and things. He laughed to himself. Then he remembered reading that laughing to himself. Laughing to yourself is a sign of insanity. So he stopped. Maddie waved her hands in the air and screamed at him like an electrocuted seagull. She wanted the goddamn chips. Not for you, he told you. They might ruin your life. She shrieked again. Fine, he said, taking down the bag, but I warned you. Maddie sat in her high chair, happily destroying a small mountain of potato chips and packed the diaper bag. Flavorless puffs,
diapers, the wipes, the pad, the change of clothes, the tiny leather-soled walking shoes that were supposed to go easier and maybe months away from walking. The bottle, the milk, the crinkly, chewable book, and the rabbit. The first aid kit, God forbid, the knitted pumpkin hat and the pouch of pumpkin paste, you grew a pumpkin, and the grapes cut in half and choking while the good camera, an issue of the New Yorker, one could hope, and his thermos. More coffee, too much, he was vibrating, he'd have to shit soon. Herb rags, diaper cream, the little rubber Sophie, every baby had, his face mostly smeared off by Maddie's gummy. But Ken, what did he do? Did he do something? What did he do? That man's eyes, he'd always struck Adam as someone who held on too tightly to the things he wanted. Was he doing that now, Adam? Was he not taking no for an answer? Adam shivered, out through to his hands, mediuming an irrational terror, premonition, a vision. Pictured Kemp in a rented van, gunning to the eastern side of the state, taking Maddie out to some remote campground to do that. Okay, and we're off, Adam told Maddie, off to see the duckies. They would lunch on snacks, Annie's cheddar bunnies with
Whoa. One more big round for all of our readers. So there are some books for sale, and you can pre-order Jose's book back there. And there's mass auction space, and there's an amazing world of books here available for purchase. So stay and hang out if you're able to. We're so happy you could be here, and we hope to see you again next month.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. Yeah. We'll turn our guy off here.